Rigby. Brandon's a student of mine. He's going to be a freshman here at Missouri Valley. I want to make sure I got it right. But Brandon, he's kind of, he's more of an advanced player. He's been playing his whole life. You've been fortunate. You had instruction before, so you had the fundamentals when you came to me. So you had a good base. But now with this lesson, we're using video just to work on a lot of path issues that he has. His ball flight is going right to left consistently, especially with the longer irons and woods. So that's a common thing for good players. I actually teach most of my students to do what you already do, to come more inside and try to come with releasing the club with your trunk and stuff. So he does that really well. But what we got to work on, and we're going to show you with video, just what we're doing is working on just one move from the top of his swing, because he's really a good path to your backswing. But then when he comes on the downswing, he's just working on one move that's going to help him get his club more on path. So he's not coming underneath so much and then flipping, causing the club to go on an inside out and close the club face, which causes that right to left ball flight. Through using SwingView Pro video software, it's just a general software that we can draw lines, do analysis of each position where he's at, and it's easy to get so detailed that you lose really the focus of playing golf, which is too much technique. So that's the one thing I suggest. Don't work on one thing. Don't work on multiple things when you're trying to work on your game and your swing. Again, what we're focused on, Brandon has a great setup. Look how his back's pretty flat. This is Zach Johnson, who just won the tournament, so we wanted to compare Brandon with Zach, who's very similar in body type and how he sets up to it. Zach does have his hands a little bit lower. It's kind of preference, and it's a lot of based on your lie angles of your club. So Brandon's clubs seem to be a little more flat, or upright, I mean. So we wanted to get his hands a little bit higher so his club face isn't pointing left. And that's just a part of the fitting process, the club fitting process. So you want to fit your club's base to your swing. So when Brandon, we're looking at that yellow line there, that's a shaft line. I want to see him get pretty close to that yellow line on the backswing, which that is a ideal position right there. A nice extension, nice turn. Zach does the same thing. He follows that line. His club face is very similar position. Toe, it's okay to have the face pointed down a little bit. Usually we teach, toe straight up to the sky. Now he comes a little steep, and this is where we want to work on. He gets to the top, not a lot of wrist hinge, which is okay, but it's more of a sweeping motion. So Zach gets a little more inside. You can see he hinges a little bit more. And watch how Zach stays on that yellow line where his head is. And watch what we do. We kind of dip a little bit, and then our move down is more inside, underneath the plane. So this is what I was talking about, where Brandon's club head gets underneath that yellow line. And that's really caused by his first move. He pushes off with his lower body, which is good, but he could be sliding and dropping his hands a little too far inside. Zach makes his first move with his hips and his trunk, so he has that sequence correct. And that's why the shaft, if you look at the shaft, his is pointed more toward the ball, the target line. Okay, and let's go to that same position. Ours is good right there, and then it kind of goes flat. And then the club head comes underneath that yellow line, and then it's more of a flip motion. So the good thing is we've been working on that, being able to see two cheeks there, like Zach does. Watch how you see two cheeks, and he comes through. So that means you're pivoting correctly. But we are still losing that spine angle. Brandon came up 6 degrees at impact with his spine angle. So you see the yellow lines there, and it says 6 degrees. So that's how we're able to tell. If the more that you rise up and come up and out of it, usually that's caused by your right foot, in which the motion that you make. If that right heel comes up off the ground, that means he's not turning in as much. So we want to work on that move. I use Pivot Pro, Jim McLean's training aid, to help do that, so you feel that more inside motion and turn. But you made a lot of progress, Brendan. I can tell that you're stretching correctly, because you are able to see that turn with both cheeks. You couldn't see that before, so it was mainly just seeing your side view. So we are making progress. I'm really happy with that, and we'll keep working on the keeping your spine angle down and through. That'll help you make better impact position and not get the club face closed from flipping. On this one, you did square it up, so it was at your target, just a little baby draw, which is what we want. We just don't want those 20 to 30 yard left hooks, and that's what really hurts our score and our consistency. So just to recap with Brennan, you know, with teaching with video, it's really important just to look at the foundation, look at grip, aim, setup, and then what we did is really worked on looking at his path of his club, and that's predicted a lot by the pre-swing, grip, aim, setup, or your aim. And what we did is we took Brandon's feet and we aimed them a little farther left, and we're going to work on squaring the face. So maybe feeling like he's holding the club, just holding on to it a little bit more instead of releasing it early. And Brandon's a very handsy player, and so we're kind of trying to work on slowing down his hands and swinging more with his big muscles, his lats and his trunk and his abs, just really working on those. And so, but yeah, Brandon, you're coming a long ways, and that's why we teach with video, because you can break down each part of his swing, and we can compare him against, you know, somebody of his stature. What we're working on with Brandon here is impact position on the downswing. So the impact bag is great because, first of all, it helps you get forward shaft tilt at impact. So you always want to have that the handle leading the club head at impact. And also, we're working on just a drill to hit the outside of the bag, and it causing the bag to spin this way a little bit more. Because for Brandon, he's coming underneath the plane. We want to come right on that line, that shaft line on the plane. So we're going to work on getting to the top, maybe not taking it so far upright, just a little bit more inside. That'll help you on the downswing. So now Brandon does a great job shifting his weight, but instead of coming up and out of it, dropping it underneath, we're going to push off that instep a little bit more and get his path a little bit more feeling outside in. We're going to actually do the opposite of what I normally teach most of my students. Where I hit it on the outside of the bag, causing it to spin counterclockwise. So again, that's what we want to feel. So that over the top swing a little bit, it'll still be square. The shaft will still fall in that line, not the club head falling underneath that line. It'll come more on it. And then down us through to that position. So let's have you work on it, Brian. Okay. There you go. So just make it spin counterclockwise, hit the inside. There you go. What we're working on with Brandon out here on the range is you got to first pick out your target. So I use these rods, and you can pick them up at any golf store for pretty cheap. And what we do is you got to have one for your target line. So I put this one here. Now we're going to go at the white stake out there. And then I use one for his feet line. Well, Brandon was setting up his feet line closed to the target line, so that was causing more of an inside out. So really we just focused on his aim, helping line up his feet and his hips and his shoulders a little bit more open of what he's used to. And he still hit his draw, but it started out on line rather than starting out left and then hook and drawing or hooking. Okay, so we move this stake just a little bit more open so you can see that. Set up the club face so it's square, so I just help him square that up. And really what we did is helped him get his hands a little bit higher, because it looked like his line angle was a little flat. Now Brandon, go ahead and swing and just work on that move. Okay, that one started out pretty close to on line, hit a little thin. That means he probably came up and out of it just a little bit. So we'll focus on that move. I like to use a couple of teaching aids. The first one is Pivot Pro. Jim McLean promotes this used to. Okay, now trust it. Okay. So again, Brandon started out just a little left, and it drew about 20 yards left of our target. So we got to work on is squaring that face and in that downswing, and we'll get there. Because when he does it right, it starts out just right of the target where we want, and it draws back to the pole there, that white pole. So let's try one more, and I want you to kind of over-exaggerate it. So feel like you're coming over the top, and just swinging more with your trunk on this one instead of sliding. There. Okay, and stay in there, okay? Okay, he hit a little bit thin on that one, but I like the flight better. It started off right, and eventually came back to the target. So that one we can work with. He's not, you know, left of the green, and you're going to start. I just like to do a couple just normal swings, helping him get to feel those positions, and then I use my teaching aid to really help feel it for a couple swings. Then we go back to just doing our normal routine. And So we're opening the face just normal, what he's used to, instead of shutting it. And see how you finished? You can go more in. Okay, so really focus on that footwork on this one. Same setup, everything's the same, just open a little bit, try to, yeah, oh yeah. You want to push off that instep, just let it feel it. Use your big muscles, open that club face a little bit more. Right there, okay, now trust it. Okay. And that was his best struck ball so far. Nice height to it, so it's going to sit on the green, nice little draw, that's just your normal ball flight. And so when people come to me and they say, well, I want to work it, I want to play a fade, I want to play a draw, I just think there's too many variables. Unless you're playing, you know, you're like the tour pros and you're practicing playing multiple hours a week, probably, you know, 15 to 20 hours a week, more of a full-time job, which most of us, you know, work full-time jobs, so we can't do that. Now, Brandon, he probably could, but we want to get him a consistent where he's playing his draw. That's his normal shot. We don't want to try to try something that he's not used to doing. And then once he develops that and he hits more of a straight shot, and then we can work the ball both ways, that's important, but we got to still get his base. And so that's what we're going to really stick with, his little baby draw right now, where it's consistent and he knows how to play it every time. So he gets up there, he's more confident.